Okay. So up on the website is the quick handout for the logo. Scroll on down. You'll see that here. So you can kind of go through that. Everything we kind of went over, nothing super complicated. I might add to this. I've been thinking about adding a business card element to it. So I'm just write that down in case I might do that. But we'll see. We'll get that figured out. But that's going to be due to 9th. So keep working that up. We'll go through some more stuff today. But be ready next week to have some examples. If I say, hey, show me what your progress is, or show me your 3 best, you can do that. And it'll be much like pulling this up in Illustrator. Say, okay, here are my 3. And we can talk about it and give you some feedback, that type of thing. Okay, so do that. I also added in a little PowerPoint from Gary Vaynerchuk on social media content, because I know we talked about it last week or first of the week here about getting stuff up, and I'm saying, hey, you can do stuff like in progress, or things that are moving along, or just thoughts. It doesn't need to be finished work all the time. And he goes through that in this PDF. It's like 60-some pages, but he talks about how to just kind of do it. Part of it is obviously not being afraid to put stuff up. But he says it doesn't need to take a whole lot of time. Okay. So he talks, again, this goes through different examples. And he talked about like kind of starting with just Twitter. And he made a tweet, focus on hating yesterday is killing your opportunity to love tomorrow. Boom. So he did that. And then he said, what you can also do is, and it's a good idea, is like if you did a tweet like this, and again, it's just words. Again, we're talking no visuals really at this point, or maybe something as easy as 1, 2, 3. You could put something like that in there. He estimates it took him about 19 seconds to just kind of put that tweet up. And then, and he got some retweets from it and all that kind of good stuff. And then he took that one piece, he took a screenshot of it, and he reposted it to Instagram. Okay, so that was another 50 seconds, he's saying. And so within literally 2 minutes, he was able to take that same idea, that tweet it, take a photo, photo of it, right, a screenshot, and then repost it on Instagram. And now, so he's reusing that same piece, but he's putting it back out there. Okay. And you can kind of keep doing that. And again, it doesn't have to be as simple as that. It could be more specific on something you see or something you do. And, don't be afraid to do it. So he's got some really good ideas of just how to put up content. Because like I said, if you don't have content, nobody's going to see your stuff. Does that make sense? You got to constantly feed it, so you're going to come within their eyes. So as you're scrolling, it's bringing up people that you've seen most. And in fact, I don't know if it's, again, I can't tell because I'm on, my account's got some business side stuff going on it, but you can actually look at your account and it'll show you like who you've seen the most. Okay, so it will, so if I put, like I'm clicking on my follows, and it'll give me the most shown in my feed in here. I don't know if you can see that. Whoa, too bright a light to affect that. So this is most shown. So it just shows me who I see the most, or who I interacted the most with. And again, these aren't because they're the biggest sites out there, just happen to be, I interact with them, and therefore it thinks I want to see more of that. So the whole goal is to have you have content, people will interact with it, and therefore it's going to bring them up in their, you're going to come up in their feed more, which is a good thing. Okay, so look through his thing. You can download this and save it, and it's got some good ideas in there. So it's Gary Vaynerchuk and his engagement on social media. Okay, so put that on your your weekend reading list. Not that you got anything else to do. All right. So as we're working these logos, again, I want you to kind of work them up. And we went through last class about how to kind of bring pieces in, how to kind of maybe modify things and make them uniquely for you. And then going through the typography and really making sure you're spending time of analyzing it and looking at it and making good decisions with the type. Again, it takes time. It takes even longer when you're first starting to start to look at that. And then look at it, and again, it comes back to feel. How do you feel about that? What does that typeface say to you? And how will that translate into what other people hopefully will see and feel about that particular typeface? Okay, so I'm going to start going into the next part of this project. So we're doing the logo, of course, and we're going to turn that in. But in addition, we're going to have a second project that's along the same theme, in the sense we're going to do a travel poster, and it's going to be for any kind of location that you want. In the end, you're going to put your logo on it, and we'll work it out. So I just want to kind of go through that today as to how we would do that and how we would kind of work that. So, and I'll do a spec sheet for us so you don't have to worry about it, but I just want to kind of get you guys going on that. So I'm going to do 11 by 17, and I'll give you the specs and all for that. And this is my poster, and in theory, it's going to be drawn up, and at some point we'll have the logo. Okay, put in that logo will come in here somewhere onto the poster. I'm going to put it to the side for now, but that's going to come onto the poster. And I want to save this file. So therefore, as I keep working, I'm just going to hit save. It's already been done. So the location could be any place. All right, guys. So as we start to work this up, the travel agency obviously can be for anywhere or for any company type of thing, right? The one that you're making up. But the poster can be really for anything. So pick a place that you would like to go to. Someplace that would be, fun for you potentially to end up drawing this thing up in Illustrator. Okay, so what would be a location for that? I'm gonna again, just as a demo here. I'm gonna just do we'll do Seattle because I know I can draw that quickly. I don't know why Google doesn't. Google, you've been messing with me lately. I just want to type in. I don't want the location. Just want you. So I'm going to go to images first for Seattle, and just kind of look at this. What's iconic about Seattle? Now, Seattle's a good city in the sense it's very iconic. We have the Space Needle. And we also have Mount Rainier in the background over here. So that's pretty good. And it's got some city buildings, right? I mean, it's got, ups and downs and those kind of things, which is kind of nice. So again, we're doing a representational feel of this poster. So we could do Seattle. I'm trying to think of what else, nice iconic cities. I mean, New York, obviously, I'm not going to do New York because it's more complicated. We got New York. They have a very memorable skyline, and of course you have stuff like the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. It's very iconic, easy to kind of work that out that way, so you can kind of put that up. So again, this could be anything, but obviously Washington D.C. Right, we've got the Capitol. and Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial. Those kind of things are very iconic. So again, it's simple to pull that in to your idea. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking some of these things and putting them together into your poster. I'm just gonna Google, so let's see what comes up. So these are examples of travel posters that people have done, and you can see they're not meant to be exact replicas of really what it is, right? These are visual interpretations of it, and they have, in this case, the elements, the main ideas, and they're putting them in some kind of decorative form or fashion with that. Okay, and it doesn't even need to be the city skyline. It could be something more abstracted, in this case, like the map of Washington or something like this. That's kind of really nicely done. We're just taking iconic elements of the city, putting them together. It could be something more, we'll say, detailed oriented, okay? Or it could be something simple and more modified, okay? So again, that's going to be kind of the style that you're going to have to start to think about, is what do you want with that type of thing. So again, there's a lot of ways of doing this in the sense of detail and style, and that'll be something you're going to want to start to do over the next, few days, week, to kind of get an idea about what you're going to do. So pick a location and then start to feel and figure out the kind of style and look you're going to be wanting to do. Okay, I'm going to do, like I said, Seattle, because I know I can work it quickly. All right, and I'm going to use these kind of things as some reference. So I'm just going to grab them, and I'm just going to actually take them and drop them into Illustrator, and it's popping up. That's cool. And then let's see what else I got over here. So I'm getting that for kind of a skyline, Space Needle look. And then I'm looking for, let me just do a Mount Rainier, because I know that's the mountain in the background. So here's the mountain. And again, I'm wanting something that's kind of on the horizon kind of look. They had pictures from Mount Rainier. I saw it coming up from Seattle. Again, I'm just looking at something where I get the high horizon. That's good. That one will be fine. I like that shape there. Let me see if it comes up. We're just going to drag that into another poster. So I've got the skyline, I've got the Space Needle at this point, and I've got the Mount Rainier, and I'm going to kind of start working it together. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in Mount Rainier. So I'm on that picture. Now I could do an image trace. I don't really see a need to. It's pretty simple. In this case, I think it's just a pen tool, and I'm just going to kind of come along, and I'm just drawing. There's a little bump there. Not too far off as to what it is. I'm just going to do that. And now I have the Mount Rainier, kind of, it's a silhouette. Doesn't need to be perfect. We're just kind of generalizing it. Put that in, and let me give it a color real quick. And I'm going to scale it up because I want that to be kind of in the background. Just kind of get my proportion. So I'm thinking words up top, whatever they're going to say about Seattle. Come visit Seattle, and then we'll have the city below with the tower of the Space Needle. Okay, so I'm going to also here put in, just to kind of make it a full background, give it a bottom part. I'm just going to join those two. Okay, I'm going to use my Pathfinder and Unite or Join. So now it's just one shape. And the cool thing about that is I can change colors quickly. It's just it's all one, right? So no problems as to what I'm going to do with that. All right. And then ultimately we're going to put the over top. So let me just zoom out of here. That's pretty good detail as to what this is. Now I could do an image trace and it's going to get it, but it's going to get really complicated. It's a photograph. And we're just trying to simplify it quite a bit. All right. So I don't need to do that. So what I'm going to do for sake of ease, I'm going to just copy and bring that over to here. That way I have it right there with me to work from. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put in some of the skyline. And again, I'm just kind of looking for, is there anything iconic about it? For the most part, it's kind of a generic skyline. There's a couple little, this one's a kind of an iconic building. This one a little bit, but probably this triangle is probably the most iconic. And then it's just a bunch of buildings with different heights. Not super tall, not many right next to each other, kind of an up and down, nice variation. So what I'm going to start doing is just kind of drawing in some buildings. And again, I can move these as I get done or scale them, but I just want to kind of get some stuff going here. And I could sketch this out, but I've already sketched this in my head about 10 times now. All right, so I got a building and I want to give it a color so we can see it. And then I'm going to do another building, make that one, the next one, a little bit taller and a little narrower. I guess copy and pasting, nothing crazy about it. Again, I'm just kind of looking at reference to get kind of the up and down kind of going. And I'm going to give that a little bit different color. Again, as I keep going, and it's a little bit taller, maybe a little wider. Give that a different color. There's a couple little like gaps between. That's kind of where the roads go. So depending on how your camera's set up, you'll get that. There's also going to be some buildings down below, maybe in front. So I'm going to kind of give it some like a horizontal building. Let's put that down here. So again, it's kind of putting those in place. We'll just kind of keep doing that as we go. We did have that triangle building, right? That one there. I like that one. So I don't know how tall that is, but it's not super tall. In this case, I'm just going to take the anchor, and I'm just going to literally use the arrows and use a down arrow. And when I do that, where you can see where we're pitching that roof to get kind of that triangle that's going on there. So we're going to keep that there. And again, we'll give that another color. Pull that in. You know, maybe over here, I'll give it kind of maybe one of these, a little angle. I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. Something like that. And I can also build a little peak in. Again, just kind of selecting and just going down a little bit. Actually, let me put that back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a center point in first. So I'm going to add an anchor point right in the middle. And then I'm going to take those 2 points. I'm going to select them both at the same time. So they're both selected. Hold the shift key, and you can see how I can peek that building out a little bit. Okay. And again, just kind of putting things in and out. Like that. And a couple more buildings here. A little there. Put this one a little bit more height. I'm going to put that one back. Again, I'm just kind of rearranging, things overlapping, not overlapping. I'll just do one more over here. Again, I'm working on an abstraction. I'm not worried about all the windows and all the detail architectural elements. In this case, I'm just kind of bringing that in. And maybe on this one, I'm gonna round the roof a little bit. So again, I'm selecting those corners, bringing that in. Okay, so like it there. All right, we're not going to spend too much time on that, but we got the buildings, and I'm just going to group those all together. So I'm just basically going to select them. Quick way to do is kind of do everything, but I've got the mountain. So if I hold the shift and unclick or click on the mountain, I got rid of that. I've got everything but the mountain, but I don't want the logo over there either. So I just did that, and it looks like we're fine. I'm going to group those. The cool thing about grouping is I can now move them around quite quickly and not have to worry about it. You see, I just grab and just kind of drag. And if I need to scale or enlarge or shift them around, I can. Things I will do is I'm not quite, if I look at the bottom of my page, I'm going to want to add what they call a bleed. That's a little bit of area over. Okay, so I have a bleed on the edge here, but not on the bottom. So I'm just going to stretch my mountain down a little bit, because when they print, if they were to print this out and they were to cut this, I want to have a little bit of extra. So if they cut, we're not getting kind of that white edge that sometimes happens if you cut things too close. Okay, so if I didn't print out outside of here and it was just white outside, if they cut that thing off by like even a 16th of an inch, I would get a small little white line next to it, and I don't want that. Okay, so we've got the hills, the mountain back here. We've got the city. Again, I'm not sold on anything right now. I'm just kind of putting things in place to kind of figure it out. We do call it the Emerald City, so maybe. And then I want to do the tower itself. So a couple ways I could do this. I could take this into Photoshop and get rid of everything but the tower, bring that back in and vectorize it. That would be not too bad a way of doing it. Makes it look quick, a little bit quicker and easier to do that. I can try erasing some things here. I don't know if it's going to erase. Let me see if it's going to. See, it's not, because it's not vectorized yet. But I'll do. I'm going to do a live trace on this, and we'll do it that way. The other is I can just kind of come in here and draw. Right. I'm just going to ignore the outside. It's pretty simple. We've got. We could use a pen tool. Just kind of come along. Put that in. Again, we're just kind of drawing. Again, if something is off, we're not too worried about it. We can come back later and clean it all up. Okay, so we kind of have the top there. So you can see that, and then we'll just come back in using our select points and do that. And if we take this down visually, like right now it's at 100%, but if we drop the opacity down to 50 in this case, you can start to see behind, you can start to see where I need to move my points to it, right? So you can zoom right in here and go, okay, I need to move this point out a little bit. And this point needs to come out here. And I need another point, so I'm going to actually come back in here and add a point. And then take that point and drag that down to here. Okay, so you can see how we can start to work that up into the shapes that we want. And again, it won't take too long with something like this to do. So that's one way. It's kind of using this as a reference or a guide to kind of draw in your tower, right? I'm just going to delete that off. I'm going to actually take that off. So next I'm going to do a live trace on it. So I've selected it, and I'm going to do image trace, and I'm going to I don't know how it's going to work. So I'm going to try a couple things. I'm going to do shades of gray first. I just want to see what's going to work best for giving me the Space Needle. In the background, I'm going to have to end up erasing and deleting all that. The computer's thinking. Okay, not too bad. We got a lot to delete here, but we're going to do it. Expand it. We've got a lot of points. That's cool. And we're going to ungroup it. So then we can start to get in here. And you're going to see, I'm just going to kind of get real quick, just kind of highlight over and delete. We're just getting rid of stuff. Likewise, highlight over. It's going to select it all. I'm going to delete. So as we're doing it, we're just going to have the tower kind of left here. Again, it takes time to get in there and get all the little spots, but it can be done. Okay, again, no one said it had to be 2 minutes, but you're just going to work it all out. You can also just kind of just come through and delete. And it'll get a little bit more complicated with some of these maybe inside parts. But just kind of get in there. Don't be afraid to zoom in so you can see it better. You can hold the shift, hold the space bar down, and that'll give you the hand. You can kind of move around quick. And I'm just deleting these out. I'm not going to get rid of all of these that quickly, but everybody can see what I'm doing, I hope. Again, there's a lot of spots here. You can see what you got to do is get rid of all that. And we'll go through the bottom here and just kind of take all that away. Okay, so we're calling it good for now. We're not going to worry about all of it, but you can see how you can do that. And I don't need any of this over here. All right, and I know I got stuff up here, but we'll get rid of that really quick. I'm just going to take what I have, and I'm going to just group it. That way, when I move it around, it's just click and move. And it's also, when I go to scale it, it's going to make a lot more sense and keep things together. And we've got this here. I'm going to actually put it over here. Who knows the direct relationship to the mountain and the skyline. Again, it's all going to be based upon where we are. And I'm going to move this to the front. Orange, bring to the front. Okay, so you can see where that's going to be in there. And we got at some point put our logo in. So in this case, I'm going to put, we'll do a little box down the bottom here. It's kind of a, whoa, slow down, computer. A little box to put the information in. All right, we're going to watch that there. We're going to make that, we'll make that white just for sakes. Going to scale this down. Put this in here over somewhere. Bring that to the front so we can see it. Some kind of quick for more info. Again, this is what we call the call to action. Whether you're doing, when you're doing an ad or a poster or even sending something in the mail, a postcard to somebody, there's a call to action. So you're basically informing and asking people to do something. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We're going to have them just kind of go to a website. So let's kind of blow that up. Okay. Again, this is not good typography right now. I'm just dropping stuff in for the sake of what we're doing. And we'll reduce that lighting down a little bit. And we would have a www. I'm just going to say Ace Seattle. Sounds like a hotel, right? That kind of Ace Hotel. And that would come down here somewhere. Again, I know I'm off scale-wise and typography-wise and all that kind of stuff, but just putting something in. So there'll be something down here telling you for more info. We'll clean that up and make that good design as we go, right? So there'll be some kind of tactic there. We've got the poster. We've got the skyline. All right, I need to do some kind of background up here. So in this case, I'm just going to kind of draw in a shape. I'm going to put this to the back. Oops. And I got to give it a color. I could go with a solid color. I could do with maybe something like a gradient if I wanted to. I think I'm just going to go with a solid color for now. I'm going to put that in the back, arranged in the back. So now we can start to see our poster coming up. All right, so now we just have to have some words up here. This, again, we know that's going to get cleaned up, so I'm not going to sweat that. Is it? Keep it simple. Let me give that some scale. And we're gonna go, we'll go with white, just so we're gonna get some big contrast going on here. And I know this is not the most creative tagline, but we can just kind of go, all right? And we give that white also. We'll scale that up a little bit. We'll put that here. And you can see, you know, the idea is here. I've got a lot of work to do to go back and clean it all up and to position things and elements and, you know, playing with the type and, you know, how that's going to fit together and work together. The weight, the emphasis, the hierarchy, all that needs to be done, you know, the positioning of elements. So they're not touching or they are touching or whatever we need to do. And we're just going to kind of build it up. Okay, maybe the mountain comes down a little bit. I don't know, just kind of work it out. So we just would spend the time working it. We're going to save it and just kind of keep going. So this is where we're going to be going to, guys. We're going to be going to a travel poster, vector-based, and you're going to be working that out over the next few weeks. I'll give you a sheet with more parameters and also a due date for that. Okay, so you'll have plenty of time, so don't worry about that. But I want you to kind of start looking at, thinking about where would you like to do a poster for, going online and then looking at those styles, right? So kind of Googling, seeing what comes up, looking at different styles that might work. I mean, this is kind of what we're doing right now. They put more detail, obviously, into it. But you can see, right? That's kind of cool. That's a nice little poster that if you did that, I think you'd be proud of it. And dude, you can print that thing out and give it away as a holiday present. Okay. So kind of look at styles. Some are more abstract, some are more realistic. Obviously, there's a lot of artistic freedom going on here, right? We know it doesn't really act like this, but you can see putting these things together, these elements together, will work. Okay, so figure out your place, city, state, whatever it is you're going to do, country for your poster, and then start looking at artistic styles to kind of get you going. Okay, we have the logo to work on. Okay, and we'll be looking for some examples of what you've been doing next week, and then we're going to slowly move into this poster, and then we're going to apply your logo and so forth to this travel poster. Questions? Feel free, if you have a tablet or Wacom, you can use that. Feel free if you want to draw stuff by hand and scan it in. You can do that. This looks like something like that. Let me just see. I don't know if this was done on the computer or not, but you can see they probably did. It looks like maybe a computerized Wacom tablet style. But if you have stuff that's by hand, by all means, right? This was probably, I don't know, it was probably by hand. I don't know. But you can bring that in, right? We can trace those, we can bring those in, we can colorize them into Illustrator. So use your talents, guys, okay? I want you to do that. This is part of why you guys are here, is to, be creative. And I want to have you be able to utilize your creativity using these programs. All right, questions on this? Questions? Is the speaker working? Can you hear me? Where's the Major Tom? Where's the Major Tom? Is his microphone working? Thumbs up, something? Hello? Hello?
Okay, I guess I have a question.
Yes.
What if the travel company that you're gonna do,
it's up to you. The name of the logo or the name of the company?
No, well, all that, yeah. But what if it's you're not I don't know if you can consider. Does it have to be humans traveling, or could it be kind of also actually, yeah, shipping people to farms or whatnot? Could it be something like that instead of hey, you have to go visit a city?
Yeah. I see how extreme you can go. Again, you could be as crazy. So NASA, you all know who NASA is, Jet Propulsion, NASA JPL over in Pasadena. They did these posters. In fact, you can go to NASA and download these things. These are travel posters for space that they did. And you can download them and print them out because they work for the government. So therefore they're free. So they're going to different planets and different moons in our solar system and the likes. So yeah, you can go, by all means, use your imagination and feel free. With this whole project or with your company, you you specialize in, maybe you specialize in travel for whatever, some kind of fantasy thing. I'm totally cool with that. That makes sense. It doesn't need to be a legitimate, I'm going to go down the street and make a travel store. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. And again, you can get crazy, right? These are, beautiful examples of posters, travel posters, and just really awesome. These are all Illustrator done. And they just had people that created visual strategists at JPL. Basically, they're graphic designers. The government doesn't want to call people by their names. Okay. And they designed these, illustrated and designed these posters. And it tells you who they did it. And then they put them together. And they're the ones that do all these animations of, what's going to be on the moon or satellite traveling around, that kind of stuff. And then they have these here you can download. You can download any one of these. Just click here. And it'll pop up. Come visit Earth. Just really cool. I like this, the grand tour. Okay, and you can download it as a JPEG or TIFF, and you can print it out and put it on your wall. And again, you can do the same type of thing. There it is. And it's all just vectors. Very sweetly, very cool. I'm just going to drag it to my desktop, and now I've got a new picture. Okay. So yeah, feel free to explore, to be creative, to let your mind go. I want this. I want your minds to be creative. That's why you're here, right? Other questions?
I may have missed it, but is this an association with our logo that we're creating?
Basically the association is you're doing a travel logo, and we're going to do a travel poster, and you're going to drop your logo in somewhere on that poster. In this case, it's down here at the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
It's not that big a deal. Does that make sense? The logo is just a logo. But we're just kind of making the theme for this whole series of projects just kind of travel related. Because I think travel is cool. All right, other questions? Let me double check my attendance here with you guys. Anybody sneak in? After we start it. Looks like we got most everybody for today. All right, other questions? All right, so have a good holiday weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday. Work on your logos. Start thinking about, again, start thinking about the travel poster, where you want it to be for what kind of style, just to kind of get your head wrapped around it so you can start to be creative and move in that direction. I will get up the spec sheet for that. We'll get that figured out and start doing that. Again, look at that sheet from Gary Vaynerchuk on social media postings. Again, I want you guys to start taking advantage of this stuff. You're living in an incredible time where all this stuff is possible. You don't need to have millions of dollars or tens of thousands or even $1,000 to kind of make something. And you can do that. Next week, we're going to go over how to make t-shirts and stickers. You guys can start making some money here, or at least some holiday gifts. All right. So we'll go over those kind of things next week. All right. Any other questions? All right. Be productive, guys. Take the time. We've got plenty of time here. Even if you just take the next hour and work on Illustrator and kind of get your ideas together, that's going to be incredibly helpful to you. All right. And then we'll keep moving forward next week. Probably in a week or so, week and a half, we're going to jump into InDesign and take us through to the end of the semester also. So we're going to have some projects that are overlapping here on top of each other pretty soon. All right, anything else for today, guys? All right, have an awesome weekend. Enjoy your Halloween, not Thanksgiving yet. Just enjoy your Halloween, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys next time.
Okay, bye.